and he recently purchased an RV, so he's going to be coming to your area to be campaigning as an RV campaign. Mark?
I'm Mark Pakita, and I want to be your next U.S. Senator. Now, I've got a name problem, and you are all active in politics, so you're probably thinking it's a name recognition problem. My biggest problem is how to pronounce my last name. So we're going to do some audience participation here, and you've got to participate. It's like the banana, but with a P, or the power tool with a P, right? So Chiquita, Paquita, Makita, Paquita. Okay, so let's all say it together. Paquita, Paquita, Paquita. That's not the last time you're going to do that to me. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for being here. I have to say this. Isn't it great to be here with family? Why am I doing this? At the end of 2019, I sold my business. I sold it to my two key managers, so no employees lost their jobs. In fact, those two companies, they split it into two, are now prospering. I realized at that point I'd lived the American dream. And I've got to be honest with you, probably like a lot of you, I just took for granted that I was able to build a company and sell it and do better than my parents did, right? That's the American dream of every generation. Now, my parents did better than their parents, but that wasn't hard, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But at that time, I had a 5-year-old grandson. I'm on FaceTime with my daughter and my grandson. And I look at him and I think, if this keeps going, if our country keeps going the way it is, he will not have the same opportunity that I had to live the American dream. And then, as if it was a lightning bolt from God, I'm watching Fox News and there's Rob Portman, and I thought, that guy hasn't done anything we sent him to Washington to do. So those are the three reasons. I now have 4 because my daughter had a second boy, and I've got 4 great nephews or grandnephews. So those 6 kids are driving me to do this because they need a better future than I see for them right now. Now, when I did this, it was at the end of 2019. Just think of what's happened since the end of 2019 to our country. It has been a downhill slide all the way, right? So, what is my background? I grew up in a lower middle class family. My parents came from families that were both fathered by coal miners in northeastern Pennsylvania. They had outhouses in the backyard when they were kids. They didn't go to college when they graduated from high school. They went to work. But as we grew up, I didn't realize, because we were in the neighborhood, right? It was the same for everybody. But my mom said, you need to tell people, to have them understand the way you grew up. We never went on vacation. We just went to visit relatives, right? I didn't fly until I was in high school. And my mom said this one, and some of you will get this. We didn't buy butter, we bought margarine because it was so much cheaper, right? So that's the kind of family I came from. But faith-centered family. Sunday was a big deal for us. I had to dress like this every Sunday, hated every minute of it. Still hate every minute of it. But I went to Ohio State. I did get accepted at 2 Ivy League schools, Cornell and Penn, and chose not to go there. We didn't have the money, and when I went on a campus visit, I just had nothing in common with those kids. They were from the East Coast, primarily Boston, Philadelphia, New York, DC, and coming from upstate New York, I didn't click with them. And back then, we didn't talk about conservatives and liberals that much. It was just Democrats and Republicans. I can just imagine what those schools are like now. I mean, we see the news stories, and maybe some of you have had kids that have gone there, but they're just progressive socialist indoctrination factories. So I am very policy-oriented. As a business person, I think Donald Trump taught us that you can take sound business management principles and apply them to government, but do it quickly. Businesses can't be run on 4-year election cycles. There are times, and Mike will tell you this, a day or a week, and what you do in that day or a week mean the difference between the company failing or succeeding. So I've got a 7-point agenda I call it the Big Seven disrupt agenda, but it's essentially this: protect the country from enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now, we have a lot of domestic enemies. We've got a significant amount of our elected officials in Washington who are compromised by China. Some of them know it, some of them don't. They all need to go. Those that do know it and did it intentionally need to go to jail. Number two, we need to fix education. And the way we do that at the federal level is to defund the Department of Education. It has no value, none whatsoever. And then we relieve the pressure that's being put on state school boards and local school boards by the federal government. We need to protect constitutional rights. The First Amendment, for sure. I've already written a piece of legislation that's on my website. It's in Senate format. It takes care of social media censorship of conservatives. It's based on the Barr DOJ recommendations that went to the House and Senate years ago, and nothing's been done about it. I'm a 2A constitutional carry, across 50 states kind of guy. We need to nullify all limiting legislation at the local and state level. I'll write legislation to do that. We need to crush the deep state, the swamp, and big tech. We need to be America first and Ohio first in everything we do. What would God want? What would the Constitution want? What's good for America and what's good for Ohio? That's the decision-making tree we should all be going down. We need to restore election integrity, paper ballots, hand counts, and we need to go back and do a full forensic audit of the 2020 election, because the only way you're going to feel your vote counted is if it's proven to you. And we can't move on. And then finally, we need to reduce the size of the federal government, and it can be done 50 to 75%. I know how to do it. It's easy. It's called business process re-engineering. What are the only two industries that haven't been business process re-engineered into efficiency? Government and higher education, right? The only two industries, if you will, that are growing at more than the cost of living. This is insane, friends. Business people need to go to Washington and take that place apart. And I'm willing to do it. I'll donate my salary, all the speaking fees and all the rest. We can talk about that because I've gotten the signal. But I will tell you that I think I'm smart, I'm articulate, I'm loud, and I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. And I think that's what we need. We need Republicans that will stand up and fight. Mark Paquita, say it again. I need your vote, I need your support, more importantly, I need you to talk about me with your friends and family.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna pass it to you. It's somewhat, yeah, it's a lot, who's the best looking of the four candidates? Is it 6 10? Okay. What should be done regarding the immigration policies in the border?
Okay. I've got a solution here for you on this one that you probably haven't heard from anybody else. First thing we need to do is pause immigration. We need to stop it entirely. We need to finish the wall. While we're doing that, we need to figure out who's here legally. Right? Two buckets. Who's here illegally and who did a visa overstay, right? Their visas expired and they didn't leave the country. Okay, once we know that, what do we do with them? I've got two solutions for you. I'd be okay sending them back and sending them to the back of the line, but we got a problem. Some people say we have 11 million illegal immigrants, some people say we have 30 million. Those are both big numbers. How do we round them up, so to speak? Maybe we get them to self-report, and if they self-report, we build another line, and the first one who self-reports gets number one, like at the deli, right? The second one, number two, number three, etc. Then we only restart immigration when we can answer these three questions. How much, what kind, and when? Have you ever heard a politician answer those questions? How much, what kind, and when? We go to merit-based immigration after that, that's the what kind. And then we use a dial to turn it on and off based on the full employment rate, which economists say is between 3.5% and 4.5%. Let's say it's 4%. When unemployment is above 4.5%, we shut immigration off. When it's below that and we need workers, we open it back up again. We can do this. Folks in Washington tell you we can't do this. We're Americans. We're the greatest country on earth. We can do anything we set our minds to. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, so we got Dave's question only kind of in reverse. And now remember, you are very, very close to Cleveland. Browns or Bengals?
Browns.
Yeah, I thought that was an easy one. Asparagus or broccoli?
Man, I like both.
One of our presidents didn't like either one, I think is what I recall. Convertible or hardtop?
Convertible.
In theater, a musical or a serious drama?
Serious drama.
Okay, and then here's the last one was tough. Republican or socialist? I mean, I suppose Democrat. My notes said Democrat here, it didn't say so.
Staunch Republican.
All right, thank you very much, everybody.